This is that Martin guitar that I wrote about in the book that Jim Miller gave me that started really my music ministry, gave me the confidence to go out. It's a great gift. He was a great friend, great reminder of the goodness of God. I'm a solo musician. I play guitar and sing. I like solo. Solo's cool. But bands are cool too. Symphonies, mosaics. Each one adding something unique to the blend. That's cool. That makes something even better. See, God works His art in us in relation to others because each instrument, each person brings something unique to the mix. We don't want the bass player to play the same part that the keyboard player is or the guitarist is. See, we're called to unity, but not to uniformity. And it's the same way in the church. God calls us to be together, but not necessarily to be the same, just to be complementary. He wants us all to be made in the image of Jesus. I told you about Pesbola, the art I have in my living room by Sergio Bustamante. And it always puts me in the mind of Romans 8:29. Those that He foreknew, He predestined that they should be conformed to the image of His Son, made like Jesus, that Jesus might be the firstborn among many brethren. Jesus is the artist proof, and we are each an art piece in the series. That's how God works. It's a different way of understanding the Bible. When you read it as art, it comes alive. It's not a religious system or a set of laws and regulations. It's a description of God's art process and His purposes for you and us. You and us. See, we're formed in community. We're most perfected in community. None of us is called as a lone ranger. God calls us to live together. When Jesus taught us to pray, He said, pray this way, Our Father, not my Father. He expected us to pray this together, to live together, to walk and follow Him together, and to be perfected together. When Paul says, you are the temple of God, that you is plural. We are the temple of God, not I am the temple of God. See, God puts us together to form us and to perfect us in community. Dietrich Bonhoeffer talks about this in his little book, Life Together. He says that we are all, each, separated from the rest of the race to God alone so that we can be given back properly to His church. But you know, we tend to segregate ourselves today. We are looking for people who are like us, for affinity groups. We are separating by age group, by color, by financial levels. We separate by languages. But God wants us to come together. If we choose our fellowship by our affinities, we're denying the power of God to make us one. And we're foregoing His perfecting of us in the community of believers. Do we really need another left-handed bowlers for Jesus club? I think God wants all the left-handed bowlers and the right-handed bowlers, bowlers of every color, every nation, and every language to come together. Where? In the cross of Jesus Christ. That's where we come together. That is where we fellowship, and that's where God perfects us. I have a friend named Ernie Spears. He pastors a church here in California. Even though he was born and raised here, he sounds like he's from Oklahoma. I'm from the South, and Ernie sounds more Southern than I do. He calls me up, Bob, it's Ernie Spears. I want you to come hold us a service. We are the unlikeliest of friends because we're so different. And yet, you know what? We love each other because we were brought together. Our fellowship is in the cross of Jesus Christ, and that's all. Now, you already know my feelings about accountability partners. It's, to me, the Disneyland approach to life. It's a controlled, safe, mechanical adventure. I think God has something better for us than that. God's church is not mechanical. It's natural, supernatural. It's like God's nature. Don't you think that's why God used so many earthy metaphors to describe us? He calls us sheep, stones, stars, vines, branches. That's His people. That's His church. So here's some questions for you. Has something like my junior high bus experience ever happened to you? What's a good metaphor for your church or your fellowship? Are you a rock band, a company division, POWs, a family, an army, the United Nations? Do you have any unexpected friendships? How well do your friends know you? How well do you know them? Do you enjoy your friends, help your friends, appreciate their differences?